Paradise Club, New York City. I remember that place not because I was on holiday or because of its amazing drinks, but it is because I heard my favorite singer, Rich Brian, buzzing through the speakers in an American club. He was an artist I've been following for years, and I always thought he would remain low-key as an Asian rapper. But because of AD Rising, here we are. Good morning, we are Nova Consulting. As Asians, my team and I are huge fans of what you do. As a result, today, we're more than excited to share our recommendations with one of our favorite recording labels and help your company to secure future talents and retain current stars. Since 2015, AD Rising has aimed to become the voice for Asian culture. Over the years, you developed 3 strong UVPs, including a strong brand name, thorough understanding of the Asian minority, and a strong social media presence. This has allowed you to achieve great success, as you can see on the right. However, in recent years, more and more large companies such as Sony and Universal are entering your niche market of the Asian rap genre. In theory, this will lead to 2 possible threats, where the demand for your music will fall and the supply of your artists be threatened. For the former, strong promotions from our competitors could lead us to losing target audience. And for the latter, these competitors might also take our artists away. However, let's look at what the evidence suggests. Analyzing whether our demand will truly fall due to competitors, our team performed a competitor analysis. Through this analysis, we understand you're better in terms of strategic diversity, brand recognition in the Asian community, and the duration in Asian rap. This has and will continue to give you the edge in selling Asian rap music around the world. As a result, you can see that the demand for music would not be the main issue posed as new competitors come in. This brings us to an analysis of whether our supply will be threatened by incoming competitors. To do so, we first categorize artists into 3 main profiles: prospective artists, up-and-coming artists, and current veteran artists. Prospective artists are those who have not signed with any record label and can sign with AD Rising as their first record label. Current up-and-coming artists are those who have signed with AD Rising as their first label. Finally, current veterans are artists who have been in the industry for very long and has chosen to sign with AD Rising. Now, to determine which profile would most likely be poached by competitors, we first look at each profile's needs. Prospective artists want to make a name for themselves, and they're willing to do so by any means necessary. Thus, there's a high likelihood that they might be poached. Next, current up-and-coming artists want to expand to other genres without being restricted to rap. This results in a high-level threat, as other companies would be more than willing to help with this pivot. However, current veteran artists have self-selected AD Rising as their label of choice. This means that they're unlikely to be taken away by competitors. As a result, it is plain to see that the rise of competitors does indeed threaten the supply of artists, especially artists who are prospective and are up-and-coming. This brings us to today's question: whether AD Rising should remain a niche player or start to diversify. Both these options have their pros and cons as mentioned in the case. However, tying this back to our profiles, depending on which profile they belong to, artists might prefer one option more. For example, prospective artists would want the brand to continue being niche, and this is because this would allow them to compete with other artists from larger brands. On the other hand, current up-and-coming artists wouldn't mind diversification. So, what should we do?
Instead of choosing between these 2 options, why not both? This will allow us to cater to both the prospective artists and the current up-and-coming artists, the 2 profiles that are being threatened by competition. I guess what we're trying to say is we want to help your company secure future talents and retain current stars. You can do so by carrying out two recommendations: strengthen 88 and create 99 Reason, or strengthen and create for short. Firstly, for strengthen, we propose building on your niche label by adding a mentorship program to further secure future prospective talents. And secondly, for create, we propose creating a new adjacent sub-record label for current up-and-coming stars who are looking to grow. By doing so, we believe we can greatly increase the numbers of signing, decrease churn rate, and eventually address competition, leading to sustainable growth. Let's dive into our recommendations. For our first recommendation, introducing Strengthen. To strengthen 88 Rising's attractiveness to prospective artists by first staying true to our niche genre and by adding a mentorship program. For a start, let's analyze what our prospective artists want from music companies before choosing to sign with them. Meet Benjamin, a Korean-American artist who wants to redefine the music industry by uniquely blending Korean and Western influences into his rap. When contemplating which music company to sign on with, he has two considerations. As mentioned before, he first wants to make a name for himself. But that is not all. These days, artists like Benjamin also want a music company that can holistically develop them as an artist, such as through one's artistic style, stage presence, and brand. While your company can help with the first consideration because of your niche, many other large music companies can compete with you here. Hence, there's room for you to double down on an artist's holistic development. This brings us to the question: on top of helping artists make a name for themselves, how can 88 Rising implement holistic developmental programs to differentiate themselves among competitors and better appeal to prospective artists? Introducing 88 Rising's very own one-to-one mentorship program. Our program will provide Benjamin the invaluable opportunity to be personally mentored by one of 88 Rising's very own artists. A mentor will offer individualized guidance to help Benjamin holistically develop in the following two ways. First, the mentor can help Benjamin find his unique style, the first main holistic development concern. And second, the mentor may provide coaching sessions to improve Benjamin's stage presence and brand, which are other common struggles of a budding artist. Through this journey with his mentor, Benjamin will not only be able to find himself as an artist, but also learn how to develop a stage presence and brand that he's comfortable with. But that is not all. Even with holistic development, aspiring budding artists like Benjamin might still struggle to establish their name in the industry. That is why our mentorship program goes beyond just guidance. It goes one step further by providing Benjamin with exciting opportunities to collaborate with his own mentor. Benjamin can either collaborate with his mentor on songwriting projects or through co-recording songs. Such collaborative opportunities lets Benjamin piggyback on his mentor's fan base, allowing him to springboard into the industry. After completing the mentorship program, we are thrilled to introduce to you Big Ben, a transformed Benjamin who is ready to take the stage. However, all that is not attainable without matching the right mentor to our budding artists. Therefore, we have established a criteria that will guide our matching process. For example, for Benjamin, a Korean-American rapper, we will match him with a mentor who has a strong background in similar genres of hip-hop and rap, shares similar background and goals as Benjamin, and can connect with Benjamin on a personal level. Through this deliberate process, we believe we can find the perfect match for Benjamin. Ultimately, apart from remaining true to their niche, having a new one-to-one mentorship and collaboration opportunities with mentors will make 88 Rising a compelling place for prospective artists. This will hence allow 88 Rising to secure future talent.
This brings us to our second recommendation, creating 99 Risen, an adjacent sub-record label for current up-and-coming artists looking to grow. We start by analyzing the needs of our current up-and-coming 88 Rising artists. Now, meet Jijo, a rapper signed by 88 Rising. He built his career from the ground up with your label for the past 3 years, and has successfully garnered a name for himself within the Asian rap community. He is now at a critical juncture of his career where he is looking to evolve. namely through the exploration of genres, career growth, and individual branding. Let me explain. Joji is tired of rapping and has the desire to explore and make R&B music. However, he risks diluting your label's identity and hence feels like he is being limited. Career growth-wise, Jijo dreams of having more fans and more brand deals. But due to 88's relatively niche market and limited resources, he isn't able to do so. Lastly, he wants to promote his individual brand and has the capability to do so. But your record's label strategy is more focused on promoting the collective. Thus, there could be discontent among artists like Jijo. What this also means is that there could be a mismatch between what 88 Rising can offer and Jijo's pressing needs, which may lead him to leave for other competitors. To resolve this, our team would like to introduce the second solution, Create. In this solution, we will create 99 Risen, an adjacent record label of 88 Rising. It will serve to sign maturing current artists like Jijo. While both labels focus on Asian talent, 99 Risen is more genre diverse. Another key difference is that 99 Risen will also be more commercialized, promoting each artist individually. As seen on the right, 99 Risen. This name was carefully chosen due to two reasons. Firstly, it is a play on 88 Rising, enabling us to leverage our current strong brand identity within the Asian crowd. Secondly, and more importantly, on a deeper level, 99 or 99 in Chinese translates to everlasting, symbolizing a strong and eternal partnership with our artist. Diving deeper, let's look at the three key features of this record label: genre bender, commercialized, and individual focus. In genre bender, the new record label will have a dedicated platform providing tools and guidance for artists to explore different genres. This gives them the freedom to experiment genres outside of rap. Secondly, 99 Risen will also leverage our current UVP to help artists acquire brand deals and festivals to reach a more diverse audience pool. This will allow artists like Jijo to have more fans and more money. Finally, 99 Risen will prioritize individual branding. Each artist will have their own YouTube, TikTok, and Spotify, which will be actively promoted and managed professionally by 99. This allows Jijo to grow his personal brand and not just be seen as part of the 88 Rising collective. Ultimately, this will satisfy Jijo's needs, which will enable your company to retain these talented artists. Consequently, with both the existing 88 Rising and the new 99 Risen, your company can retain the existing audience who love more niche Asian rap, as well as attract new listeners who are perhaps interested in other genres like R&B. Now, it might seem like a daunting task to move into mainstream music to fight with the big labels, but we are certain it will work. This is due to the four factors below. Given the strong demand for Asian artists in various genres and 88's Rising's top-of-mind branding, you can profit from the Asian millennial crowd amidst tough competition. On the operational side, given strong connection with Asian brands and strong promotional channels, you have the in-house capabilities to successfully execute 99 Risen. Your company has also expressed concerns regarding having a growing company. We also see this as a concern, as we are recommending you to create a new record label which will naturally require us to manage more people. We can address this by preemptively having a strict criteria for hire. Looking out for applicants who share your company's vision, have worked in the commercial music industry, and is familiar with the Asian music scene. This ensures that even with a growing company, employees are motivated and experienced. But even if we find the right applicants, there is no guarantee that they would want to work for us. Thus, it is important to emphasize the following key pull factors to them, inclusive of your company's stellar track record, the ability for the applicant to grow, and lastly, the startup-like culture given your company's relatively small size. Hence, with a solid idea of creating a new adjacent record label, 99 Risen, and with an even more concrete execution plan, we can meet the needs of our current up-and-coming artists and retain your company's current stars.
We are confident in helping you secure future talent and retain current stars through both our two solutions, Strengthen and Create. However, there are three key risks. Allow me to highlight two. Our first risk pertains to our first recommendations mentorship program. Now, there's a chance that the mentorship program and the experience for new artists turns out to be not too good. This is because mentors, as artists themselves, unintentionally do not give their full support due to other commitments. To mitigate this, we can first make the mentorship program opt-in in nature, especially for mentors. And at the same time, when asking potential mentors in the first place, your company must be clear to establish expectation and lay out some guidelines. For the third risk, despite our 99 Risen initiative, there is also a chance that current artists still do not want to stay on with your company. To mitigate this, we can engage them in further one-to-one conversations to better understand if there are any additional concerns, apart from the ones we have identified, that will allow us to better individually cater to them and to ultimately keep them with us. These two risks are so important to us, so much so that we have accounted for them in our implementation timeline, as you can see right here. But also allow me to go through the entire thing. We start off with our first recommendation of Strengthen. As your company continues to look for prospective artists, your company can start to approach existing artists to become mentors. Moving forward, as a new artist comes in, they will be matched with volunteer mentors as explained earlier. After a successful match, for example, as illustrated by the star in orange, mentorship can begin immediately. Several months after, collaboration can then follow after both the mentor and mentee feel that it's time. For our second recommendation, Create, starting today, your company can settle the administrative and legal aspects of opening an adjacent record label. Simultaneously, your company can also start to hire the necessary people for this new label. But most importantly, this idea of 99 Risen should be shared with current artists right away. Doing so will affirm them that we are actively trying to cater to their evolving needs, preventing them from having thoughts of leaving. With that, in a few months, the new label can officially be set up, and by the turn of the year, it is likely that new songs by artists under this new label can be released. Ladies and gentlemen, after everything we have said, I'm so excited to finally express our recommendation into numbers. In our subsequent slides, I'll go over the impact of our recommendations and the cost of implementation. Let's move on to the impact, where for our first recommendation of Strengthen, we are confident that our mentorship program will add as an additional draw to your company and will help your company continue signing quality artists, increasing the total signings by 2 to 3 artists annually. At the same time, our second recommendation of Create, we also will be able to reduce the churn rate of your beloved artists, which just so happens to be 1 artist per year for the past 5 years. Ultimately, what our recommendations really aims to do is to ensure that the supply of music for your company, both in terms of quality and quantity, will not be negatively impacted by competition. And once again, since the fall in demand due to competition is not really a concern, this will allow your company, with its 2 new labels, to grow and navigate the uncertain times moving forward. Moving on to the cost of implementation, our first recommendation of Strengthen, the cost of our proposed mentorship are rather minimal, so allow us to spend more time to elaborate on our second recommendation, Create. For Create, we project new OPEX of the new label to be 395,000 USD. From our analysis, 50% of this OPEX is manpower costs, which can be further broken down into back and front office costs. The other 50% can be attributed to other costs like rent, promotional, partnership costs, etc. However, here at Nova Consulting, we understand that given your company's size, you want to do more to keep your costs as low as possible. As a result, our team actively found ways to save costs, most notably, leveraging the current back office and front office manpower expertise that you already have, we'll be able to save up to 20% of the new back-end manpower costs and 50% of the new manpower front office costs. This reduced the new OPEX down to 55% of the original value. This cost savings will act as an important buffer for your company to invest in other things as they deem fit.
In conclusion, we are confident that through our 2 recommendations, Strengthen and Create, we'll be able to increase the number of signing and decrease the current churn rate. Ultimately, by securing future prospective talents and retaining current stars, your company will be able to address competition and attain sustainable growth. And who knows, perhaps music from these 2 labels will continue to rock the dance floor around the world from now and for years to come. Thank you.
So thank you, and the time is up. And now we have our Q&A session for 15 minutes. And dear judges, please make the questions short and concise so we can leave your thoughts and comments for the feedback session. Thank you.
So, everyone, thank you for your presentation. I have a question here. Is solving artists the only issue that you're looking at?
Sorry, can I clarify your question? As in, what do you exactly mean by that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm trying, my question is, you focus the solution a lot around the artist, right? By creating two label. What about your distribution channel? What about, other analysis? What is your financial trajectory? What do you anticipate to achieve in 3 years' time, in 1 year's time, for the overall company revenue?
I think I understand your question. I think as of now, the biggest problem moving forward is the presence of competitors, which, as mentioned earlier, could affect both our demand and the supply. So for your first part of the question on what other things that we have considered, regarding the competitors coming into our current genre, we beat them on several of the criteria as you see on the left. So for example, strategic diversity refers to all our distribution channels, all our marketing strategies, the promotions, the online, social media, etc. Brand recognition is brand recognition. And duration in Asian rep refers to how well we understand the market. So we are truly succeeding in all of these categories as compared to the incoming competitors, especially in the genre of Asian rap. So this is, as a result, we don't believe that demand will be the key thing that's falling, and instead is supply. And that's the reason why our recommendations mainly focus on supply. We also thought of several ways that we can increase demand, but that's something for another question, perhaps. In terms of the projection of the financial future of the company, frankly speaking, it is very difficult, quite hard pressed to find data about the revenue numbers and things like that, and we didn't really want to scale or do any things that would threaten or to project anyhow the new revenue. So I think what we tried to do is just to more on a quantitative level in terms of the artists that we captured. That is the impact that we wanted to show. And in case there was a concern about cost and recommendations, cost and implementation is why we projected why we could do this saving strategy, how much it would cost at first by opening a new label, and how that cost can potentially be brought down through certain organizational changes and arrangements. I hope this answers your question.
Okay, thank you.
No worries.
Can I give a questions? First of all, thank you so much for your impressive presentations. It is very interesting to know about the mentorship program in this music industry. Generally thinking that artists are very generally has a very unique character. So I'm thinking this. I'm sorry, I do not have enough information and knowledge on this industry, but artists should have their unique character on their music. So why do you think the mentorship program must be successful to raise more artists? And also, another question is that your business strategy to strengthen your existing business is very relying on the mentorship program. But I'm thinking that this requires a lot of cooperations among the artists. What's the motivations for the successful artist to be voluntarily become a mentor of a junior artist? So what's the motivation you think?
Okay, sorry, just to clarify, right? So you're asking what are the pull factors such that the artist will want to mentor the prospective artist, is it? And then also you are also asking whether because artists have unique styles, so like how can this mentorship program help them instead?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so I'll just tackle the second question first, which is what are the potential pool artists such that artists will actually want to help the prospective artists that are coming in. So firstly, current artists might actually want to give back to the community that they have been learning from, and hence they might be more willing to help these mentees. And secondly, mentors themselves can also actually gain from this, as helping with emerging talents can also help mentors in terms of their creativity. So this relationship is actually mutually beneficial for them. And the third reason is that they can ultimately leave a legacy behind and pay it forward. So these are actually three key reasons as to why mentors might be actually incentivized to help prospective artists. And also just to note that because we know that this is actually a concern whether or not mentors want to help the artists or not, and we've actually addressed it in our risk and mitigation measures. So as mentioned earlier by Christian, we have proposed for this mentorship program such that it is actually an opt-in basis. So it's optional for mentors whether they want or not to actually help them. Yeah. So with regards to the first question as to how different artists have unique styles and how mentors can actually help to grow them in this aspect because they're all different. So our mentors won't be specifically crafting their unique artistic style, but more so they'll be helping them to actually develop such that they can actually help prospective artists find their own unique style and actually give them several advice and tips from the experience. And so it's not really about crafting their unique style for them, but more of giving experience on how to find themselves and how to actually incorporate their own culture and experiences into their own artistic style. So I hope this answers your question.
And to really add on very briefly, I think our mentorship in general is something that is very common in the music industry. More oftenly or more publicly known by reality TV shows like The Voice or American Idol. These are shows where artists are actually mentored by artists that are already in the industry. So we don't believe that just because you're mentored by a current artist, that your entire persona or everything will be 100% influenced by them. But the thing that we're trying to get at is that the mentors will help the artists find themselves, which will ultimately allow them to be successful in their own way. Hope this answers your question.
You mean that the other competitors, companies do not set up this kind of a mentorship program in their own strategy?
Oh, for sure. I think that is a very valid concern that mentorship programs could be prominent, right? But I think specifically for the prospective artists, and in this case, it would be ones that are trying to break into the Asian rap industry. That's exactly where our UVP lies, as our entire alumni or our current artists are all people who have made it in the Asian rap industry. So who better would you want to mentor with than the people who have done it in the place where you want to go? So I think that is something that we really still have an edge on. And yeah, that's the key reason of why we think our mentorship program will work, despite other competitors that might want to implement it.
Okay, thank you.
Just a few questions from my side, and thank you for that presentation. Can you just quickly go again through how is the incentive structure working for the mentorship program? Why do you really think this is sort of working for both the mentor and the mentee in terms of what's their benefit, risk reward sort of calculation for them to sort of buy into your scheme?
Right. So I guess I can allow me to take the first part of why the mentees or the future prospective artists will buy in, and then maybe Emily can reiterate why the mentors will want to do it. So in terms of the mentees, so seeing that the mentees have two considerations when choosing a label. One is just to make a name for himself, and second, nowadays they want to have personal holistic development. Specifically in the two subpoints there, artistic and style development and stage and personal branding. So first, to address the holistic development aspect, the mentors will really help with these two aspects, allowing them to develop holistically and find themselves. But once again, embracing the fact that we are our niche, the collaboration aspect also further doubles down on our niche and will allow us to really allow the prospective artists to double down on our niche, to work with the current mentor artists, piggyback on their current fan base, and to project them into the industry moving forward. So there's a huge buy-in for the mentees because not only are their baseline, I just want to make a name for myself, that's casual, very first level, consideration, there's also a further holistic one. Both of these considerations are met with our mentorship program, and that's the buy-in for mentees. So over to Emlyn for the mentor buy-in.
Okay, so for the mentor buy-in, there are actually three main reasons as to why mentors might want to help prospective artists in this. So firstly, actually, current artists in 88 Rising might actually want to give back to the community because they have been learning from basically 88 Rising, and they might be willing to actually want to help their mentees. And secondly is that mentors themselves can actually also gain from this as they are helping emerging talents, because in terms of creativity, they can be inspired by emerging talents, and then they might be inspired to actually explore new directions in their own work. And this makes it, in a sense, more mutually beneficial for them. And one avenue whereby they can actually explore new directions is actually the collaboration aspect of our mentorship program. So that's one of the reasons. And our final reason is that ultimately, this mentorship program will allow our current artists to actually leave a legacy and also pay it forward. So ultimately, this program actually goes one circle, whereby new talent that have been mentored by their mentors can actually also want to pay it forward and continue helping future prospective artists.
And just to chip in here, I think especially for Asians and now increasingly around the world, like the concept of paying it back, like 饮水思源, and also like paying it forward, these things are very enrooted into Asian culture. So more in our company than any other recording companies, these things are more likely to happen. Like this give it back is more likely to happen for the mentors than maybe other Western or other record labels around the world. So hopefully that is another pointer to consider.
So is this so mainly sort of soft rather than in hard financial incentives, right? It's more a community aspect. There is no revenue fee based sort of mechanism in any of these. Is that right?
I think simply put, if the collaboration is successful, I think, and maybe if the intangible incentives are not good enough, then maybe further discussions can be used for like financial incentives as well. Just to put it simply, yeah.
Okay, so there's an avenue potentially, but it's not the main. Yeah, okay, yeah. Got it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Sorry, any other questions regarding like maybe the second recommendation or other things? Sorry.
Yeah, we have 3 minutes, so maybe one more question.
Yeah, sorry. One more question. Sorry, I lost all my notes because of a timeout. The revenue stream. Can you just very quickly highlight the impact on the revenue stream from your recommendation, and the different revenue streams?
Yeah, so I think once again it's a financial question, so I'll be taking it. Regards to this, so I think what our teams try to not do as much is to try and like project a ridiculous value or ridiculous projection based on the revenue. So we are able to find some revenue numbers, but our team felt like it would be a bit foolish to just project it randomly. So what we tried to do is to just project the number of prospective artists, which has been growing consistently year on year, as you can see on the left-hand side of the screen. So I felt that, I mean, sure, it's not a financial projection, but I mean, if you really wanted it, I could have done it by, for example, like scaling the current revenue divided by the number of artists, and then just like every year 3 on 3, then just scaling it accordingly. That's also possible to be done. But I felt that our team felt a little bit like relative to what is the strategy we were trying to have. We wanted to show that the impact was more of a human impact, keeping the art, like ensuring that future pipeline of artists keep coming in, and as well as preventing the churn rate. So I think that was the angle that our team really saw. Illustrating the projections to be. So terribly sorry if maybe that is something that we should have like accounted for as well.
Thank you. Thanks.
Maybe just to add on a little bit, we believe like the artists in this case are really the bread and butter of this music recording labeling industry, because what these labels are doing are merely trying to groom them and promote them. So if we secure the good artists and retain the good artists, our revenues will naturally, it'll be a strong driver to our revenue as well. Yeah.
So 1 minute left. Do you have any short questions to add on?
What is the number of artists that you intend to onboard based on your Create 99 on yearly basis, 1 per year? That is a churn rate, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so I think for this particular question, it really depends on who really wants to move. So I think right off the bat, people like Joji will be of like immediate, like it's an artist that comes to immediate mind. So I think it really depends on, it's not really about who we want to do it per se, but it's really an option for the artist to explore. Yeah.
Also, if I may add on, this 1 per year churn rate. So this one artist that is leaving per year, they're usually leaving to pursue greater things, and those are at the kind of the critical juncture of their career where they are perhaps very successful and they want to grow on to more things. So if we're able to keep this high impact artists, it will actually have a huge impact on our revenue as well. Like artists like maybe Rich Brian, Joji, or the Higher Brothers. Yeah, these are some examples. Thank you.
Okay, time's up. And thank you all for the precious question and answers.